Welcome on MGSS YouTube channel. I am Class Mishra with you to discuss corresponding and alternate angles, and I hope you have to enjoy this session. My dear students, in the previous class I just discussed that when two lines intersect by the third line, then you know that how many angles are formed? Actually 8 angles are formed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. How many angles are formed? 8 angles are formed. And if you discuss about the relation of these angles, then on the basis of relation of these angles, corresponding and alternate angles are formed, my dear. Regarding the corresponding angles, you have to just keep in mind that corresponding angles is the relation of the angles in the same side of the transversal. In the same side of the transversal, and you can just see that here, if you naming it, if this line is AB, CD, another line, and transversal is E, F, and it intersect at G and H, then you can just see that the transversal is what is the name of transversal? EF. Don't be confused. This is actually EF. Its name is H. EF is the transversal, and you can just see that same side of the transversal. You can just see that EF. What is the meaning of same side? Actually, angle formed in this side is one side, and in this side is opposite sides. One side, and you can just see that how many angles are formed in this side. You just see that actually angle 2, angle 3, angle 6 and angle 7 is formed in one side of the transversal, and in the opposite side of the transversal you can just see that angle 1, angle 4, angle 5 and angle 8. These angles are formed in the other side of this transversal. Regarding corresponding angles, angles are related to same side of the transversal. Same side of the transversal means it is related to either 2, 3, 6 or 7 or 1, 4, 5 and 8 regarding corresponding angles. And you can must notice 2-3 things in mind to understand corresponding angles, because a student has a little bit confusion regarding corresponding angles. I made you clear that here corresponding angles are, if you discuss about the corresponding angles, then you must know that these are the corresponding angles. If you discuss about the pair, then angle 1 in this side, angle 1 and angle 5, and second one is angle 4 and angle 8. These two angles are pair of corresponding angle in one side of the transversal, and in another side you can just see that angle 2 and angle 6, and second is angle 3 and angle 7. This is another pair. So these 4 pairs are corresponding angles. One thing also I made you clear that you have to learn these 4 corresponding angles when naming has done by this way, because if you change the naming, then it may possible that name may change. Suppose that any student has written 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6 has been written here. For example, I made you clear that when 2 lines intersected and some student has naming by this way: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. My dear, here you can't apply 1 and 5. Now it is wrong. Because you have name in a different way, and this is why in this case you have to just keep in mind angle 1 and angle 6 is corresponding angle. Similarly, angle 4 and angle 5 is corresponding angle. And also you just notice angle 2 and angle 7 is corresponding angle. And angle 3 and angle 8 is corresponding angle in this case. If you change the name, then the pair may be different. But if you have name like this, then 1 and 5 are corresponding angle, 4 and 8 are a pair of corresponding angle, 2 and 6 are another pair of corresponding angle, and 3 and 7 are pair of corresponding angles, my dear. And also you have to just notice that if anyone asks you that what conditions you have to memorize to learn the definition of corresponding angles. Actually, when you are going to write the name or select the pair of corresponding angles, then you have to just keep in 3 things in your mind. First one is that corresponding angles always be paired. Pair means it cannot be a single angle. It must be of 2 angles. Any 2 angles. Pair means 2 angles. And this is why you have to just compare the pair of the angles, and this pair must be in the same side of the transversal. I have just mentioned that no angle in the opposite sides. It should be in the same side of the transversal. And third one, for example, you have to check that. Suppose that you have to discuss in case of angle 1, and it has been given that what will be the corresponding angle pair of angle 1. My dear student, you can just see that I have just taken one angle 1, and I have to compare that which one is possible corresponding pair for angle 1. And you can just see that 7 options you have: angle 2, angle 3, angle 4, angle 5, angle 6, angle 7 and angle 8. Actually you have 7 options, and one by one I have just checked that which pair is possible. And let's check by the definition of the corresponding angles. And you know very well that angle 1 and angle 2 cannot be possible, because both angles are in opposite side, and by the definition of the corresponding angle we know very well that it should be in the same side of the transversal, and this is why angle 1 and angle 2 cannot be possible. Second options are angle 1 and angle 3. Angle 1 and angle 3 are on the opposite sides, so it is also not possible. Similarly, you can just check that angle 1 and angle 6 in opposite side, and angle 1 and angle 7 are the same region. Due to opposite side, these 2 pair cannot be possible. So all 4 angles has been eliminated. 2, 3 and 7, 8 cannot be possible because it is just opposite side of the transversal with respect to angle 1. Now you have to check in the case of 4, 5 and 8. By the definition of the corresponding angles, it is also important that it cannot be the adjacent angles. Cannot be adjacent angles. For this purposes, you can just see that angle 1 and angle 4, since these two angles are adjacent angles, so it is also not possible, and its reason is due to adjacent angle. It should be non-adjacent angles. So you have two options left, angle 1 and angle 5, and angle 1 and angle 8, and you have to just check in this case, angle 1 and angle 5, I write it clear, angle 1 and angle 5, angle 1 and angle 8, two options are, and you have to just check that which option is true and which options are false, or both options are correct and follow the corresponding angles. My dear, you have to just keep in mind that 1 and 8 cannot be possible, and its reason is totally different, and its reason is that corresponding angles cannot be in the either in exteriors or in interiors. So interior cannot be with the interiors in the pair of the opposite corresponding angles, and interior cannot be with the interior. Since 1 and 8 both are exterior angles, so it cannot be possible to be corresponding angles. So finally 1 and 5, because 1 is exterior angles and angle 5 is in interior angles. Now overall what you have understand, corresponding angles follow some certain rules. Two angles are said to be corresponding angles if they belongs, first one you have to just write in the copy, they belongs on the same side of the transversal. Second, they should be non-adjacent angles, and third things you have to just keep in mind, if one is interior then another is exterior. If one is exterior then another angle, another pair must be interior. So you have to just keep in mind, and if you have understand these three things, then you can easily discuss the corresponding angles. Hope you have to enjoy this session. Thank you very much.